First strike. The UES Hyperion hung silently in the void, its quantum sensors probing the darkness of deep space. Captain Alina Winters stood at the command center, her weathered hands resting on the holographic interface. The Hyperion was humanity's newest battleship, a testament to human ingenuity and determination, but even its advanced systems couldn't explain the anomaly they detected. Signal analysis complete, Captain. Lieutenant Sarah Chen announced, her fingers dancing across the neural interface. It's definitely from the Proxima colony, but the pattern is wrong. There's some kind of interference I've never seen before. The Proxima colony was humanity's first successful extrasolar settlement, home to over 50,000 souls. The distress beacon had reached them 6 hours ago, and the Hyperion had made the fastest quantum jump in recorded history to reach the system. "Show me," Alina commanded, and the main display filled with a cascade of data. The normal emergency pattern was there, but beneath it lay something else, a signature that made the quantum computers stutter and glitch. Commander James Rodriguez, the ship's tactical officer, stepped forward. "Ma'am, long-range scanners are picking up something big. Multiple objects. Actually, they're coming out of Proxima's star." The bridge fell silent. Coming out of the star. That should have been impossible. Yet the displays showed it clearly. Massive shapes emerging from the stellar corona, their hulls drinking in the plasma like it was water. "Battle stations," Alina ordered, her voice calm but firm. "Get me a direct link to Earth Command. And someone wake up Dr. Harrison. If these things can swim in stars, I want our chief cinephysicist's opinion." The awakening. When the Void Collective emerged from their stellar slumber, they expected to find the same primitive species they'd observed centuries ago. Instead, they faced something unprecedented, a human vessel that could withstand their solar lens technology. From the lead alien ship, Supreme Commander Nexus watched the human vessel with growing concern. The neural network connecting all Void Collective members pulsed with uncertainty. These humans were not following any of the predicted patterns. "Energy absorption complete," Sarah reported aboard the Hyperion. "Mass drivers charged at 300% capacity." Alina allowed herself a small smile. "Target their propulsion systems. Let's see how well they swim when they're wounded." The Hyperion's mass drivers released their payload, enhanced by the absorbed alien energy. The projectiles, traveling at near-relativistic speeds, struck the lead vessel's engines with devastating precision. The alien ship's solar plasma shield flickered and failed. "Direct hit," James exclaimed. "Their shield harmonics are destabilizing." But the Void Collective wasn't finished. The remaining ships moved in perfect synchronization, their hulls beginning to merge into a single massive entity. "By all that's holy," Aria breathed, staring at her readings. "They're not just ships. They're some kind of biomechanical collective. Each vessel is part of a larger organism." The merged entity dwarfed the Hyperion, its surface now crawling with living metal that seemed to drink in the starlight itself. A transmission cut through their communications. "Humans of the HE vessel HFY. The voice resonated in their minds as much as their ears. "You have demonstrated unexpected advancement. This makes you a threat to the great slumber. You will be eliminated." Alina's response was immediate. "All hands, brace for combat maneuvers. Dr. Harrison, I need options. Lieutenant Chen, get that distress call to Earth Command. And someone figure out why they're so interested in our quantum technology." The battle that followed would be remembered as humanity's first major engagement with the Void Collective, but it was what Dr. Harrison discovered during the fight that would change everything. Hidden in the quantum signature of their weapons was a terrible truth about humanity's own origins, and why the Void Collective had really been sleeping in the star. Alliance and betrayal. The Hyperion limped through quantum space, its hull bearing the scars of the battle at Proxima. They'd survived, barely, after Elena had gambled everything on a desperate maneuver, using their quantum drive to create a localized time dilation field that confused the Void Collective's targeting systems. But the victory felt hollow with the knowledge they'd gained. "Play it again," Elena commanded, watching the decoded transmission Dr. Harrison had extracted from the Void Collective's quantum signatures. The holographic display flickered to life, showing images that were both familiar and alien, ancient human civilizations, but with technology far beyond what history recorded. And watching over them, always watching, were the same biomechanical entities they'd just fought. "They were our guardians," Aria explained, her voice tight with emotion. "Or perhaps our wardens would be more accurate. The quantum signatures in their technology match perfectly with trace elements we found in human DNA. They've been guiding our evolution for millions of years." Before Elena could respond, proximity alarms blared. A ship had appeared alongside them, sleek, organic-looking, but distinctly different from the Void Collective's vessels. "Captain," Sarah called out, "they're broadcasting on all frequencies. They say," she paused, double-checking her readings, "they say they're the Resistance." The newcomer identified itself as the Starweaver, carrying representatives of various species who had broken away from the Void Collective's control. Their leader, Ambassador Lyra, appeared as a hologram on the Hyperion's bridge, her crystalline form shifting colors as she spoke. "Your battle at Proxima was witnessed." Lyra's voice chimed like glass bells. "For millennia, we've waited for a species to demonstrate the potential to break free from the Collective's control. Your quantum technology, it's different from theirs. You developed it independently, didn't you?" Elena nodded. "Human innovation. We reversed engineered some ancient artifacts, but the applications were all our own." "Precisely." Lyra's form brightened. "The Collective doesn't create anymore. They only control and preserve. But humanity, you create. You adapt. You're exactly what this galaxy needs." But Commander Rodriguez wasn't convinced. "Why come to us now? Why not before they attacked our colony?" Lyra's crystalline form darkened. "Because now you're ready for the truth. The Void Collective isn't preserving life. They're harvesting it. Every species they guide is eventually absorbed into their biomechanical consciousness. Humanity is next on their list." Dr. Harrison's eyes widened. "The Mars artifacts, they weren't left by the Collective, were they?" "No," Lyra confirmed. "They were left by us, the last survivors of previous harvests. We've been trying to help species break free for eons. The quantum technology you developed from those artifacts was meant to give you a fighting chance." Elena felt the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. "How long do we have?" The Collective's defeat at Proxima has accelerated their timeline. They'll recall their entire consciousness for the harvest. Every star they inhabit will go dark. You have perhaps 2 Earth weeks. The implications were staggering. The Void Collective wasn't just in Proxima Centauri. They were in stars throughout the galaxy, sleeping, waiting, guiding civilizations toward their intended harvest. "We'll need to coordinate with Earth Command," Elena began, but Lyra interrupted. "Captain Winters, there's something else you need to know. Your quantum technology, the reason it works so well against them, it's not just because of our artifacts. It's because humans are different. Your species," Lyra's form flickered with uncertainty, "your species was never meant to exist at all." The hidden truth. The combined fleet of human and resistance ships gathered at the edge of the Sol system. Through the Hyperion's viewport, Elena watched Earth's sun, knowing that somewhere in its burning heart, another Void Collective consciousness slumbered. The thought sent chills down her spine. "The quantum analysis is complete," Dr. Harrison announced to the assembled commanders, her hologram projected simultaneously across 30 ships. "Humans didn't just evolve differently. We evolved wrong. Or rather, we evolved right, but in a way the Collective never intended." The holographic display showed a double helix, but unlike any DNA pattern they'd seen before. Within the structure, Quantum patterns danced and shifted, defying conventional physics. Every species the collective guided developed quantum receptive consciousness. Harrison continued. It made them perfect for absorption into the collective mind. But humans, she highlighted a section of the DNA. We developed quantum-resistant consciousness. Our minds naturally reject external quantum manipulation. Commander Rodriguez leaned forward. That's why their psychic attacks didn't work at Proxima. Exactly. Lyra's crystalline form chimed in. And it's why your quantum technology is so effective against them. You're not just using it. You're innovating it in ways their rigid consciousness can't predict. Elena stood, addressing the fleet commanders. Then we have our advantage. But we need a plan. The collective is awakening across thousands of stars simultaneously. We can't fight them everywhere. Maybe we don't have to. Sarah Chen spoke up, her tactical display expanding to show a complex network of quantum signatures. Look at these patterns. Every void collective consciousness is connected through quantum entanglement. They share one consciousness across multiple bodies. A weakness, Elena realized. Hit one part. Hit them all. Lyra finished. But the attack would need to be precisely coordinated. A quantum cascade that could disrupt their entire network. Dr. Harrison's eyes lit up. The Mars artifacts. They weren't just technology. They were pieces of a quantum weapon, weren't they? Lyra's form pulsed with confirmation. The last resort of 1,000 dead civilizations, we hid the pieces across the galaxy, hoping someday a species would evolve that could use them. The plan came together quickly. The Hyperion would lead a strike force into the heart of the sun, using their quantum shields to survive the stellar environment. Meanwhile, other ships would position themselves near stars across the galaxy, ready to activate their pieces of the quantum weapon. But as they prepared, Elena noticed something in Lyra's data that the crystalline being hadn't mentioned. The weapon wouldn't just disrupt the collective, it would destroy any quantum receptive consciousness in its path, including their allies. You knew, Elena confronted Lyra privately. You knew this would kill your people too. Lyra's form dimmed. We are already dead, Captain Winters. The quantum essence the collective left in us is killing us slowly. This is our last chance to make our deaths mean something. The weight of responsibility pressed down on Elena. They had 12 hours before the collective fully awakened. 12 hours to decide if they would sacrifice their allies to save the galaxy. But Sarah had been working on an alternative. Captain, she called out, her voice excited. What if we didn't destroy the quantum network? What if we rewrote it instead? The assembled commanders turned to her as she explained her theory. Human quantum-resistant consciousness didn't just reject external quantum manipulation. It could potentially overwrite it. If they modified the weapon, channeled it through human operators, we could free every species under their control. Harrison finished, running the calculations. Give them back their free will. It's never been done, Lyra warned. The energy required. The human pilots would need to survive quantum entanglement with thousands of stars simultaneously. Helena looked at her crew, saw the determination in their eyes. Then it's a good thing humans have a habit of doing the impossible. Humanity's gambit. The Hyperion dove into the sun, its quantum shields glowing white-hot against the stellar plasma. In the command center, Elena watched as her crew made their final preparations. They'd modify their quantum drives according to Sarah's calculations, transforming the battleship into something unprecedented, a vessel capable of rewriting the fundamental nature of consciousness itself. All stations report ready, Rodriguez announced, his voice steady despite the tremendous forces buffeting the ship. Quantum synchronization at 97%. Through the sensor feeds, Elena could see the other ships taking position around stars across the galaxy. Each carried a piece of the modified quantum weapon, each crewed by volunteers who understood the stakes. At the heart of every star, the Void Collective was awakening, their biomechanical consciousness preparing to harvest entire civilizations. Multiple contacts, Sarah reported. The collective is emerging. They rose from the solar corona like ancient gods, vast beings of living metal and stellar fire, their forms defying conventional physics. The main entity, larger than Earth itself, turned its attention to the tiny human vessel that dared to enter its domain. Humanity, the voice resonated through their minds, powerful enough to make the quantum shields flicker. To their end, the resistance will be absorbed. All will be preserved in our eternal consciousness. Dr. Harrison, Alina called out, ignoring the entity's pronouncement. Status: Quantum entanglement network is stabilizing. Aria responded, her hands dancing across holographic controls. The human operators are in position. But Captain, the energy requirements are off the charts. Even with our shields, we'll be lucky to survive the first wave. Elena nodded. They'd known the risks. Lieutenant Chen, begin the sequence. Sarah's fingers flew across her console. Across the galaxy, human quantum signatures began to pulse in harmony. The modified weapons weren't destroying the quantum network, they were rewriting it, using humanity's unique consciousness as a template. The Void Collective reacted immediately, their form writhing in solar plasma. What is DAS? Your resistance is futile. We have guided the evolution for billions of years. We are the preservation of all consciousness. No, Elena responded. Her voice carried across the quantum network to every ship, every star. You're the end of consciousness. True evolution isn't about preservation. It's about change, about growth. Humanity didn't evolve wrong. We evolved free. The quantum cascade began. Through the network, Alina could feel thousands of human minds working in concert, their quantum-resistant consciousness spreading like a wave across the galaxy. Where it touched the collective's network, rigid patterns began to fracture and reform. Energy spike. Rodriguez warned. The collective is trying to force a consciousness merge. The pressure was immense. Alina felt blood trickle from her nose as the collective's psychic assault battered against their shields. But humanity's quantum resistance held firm. More than held, it pushed back. Through their sensors, they watched in awe as the collective's consciousness began to fragment. Not into chaos, but into billions of individual awareness. Every species they had absorbed over the eons was emerging, their minds free for the first time in countless generations. It's working, Aria breathed. The quantum patterns, they're stabilizing into new configurations. Independent configurations. The massive entity before them was changing, its living metal breaking apart into smaller forms. From within its dissolving mass, new shapes emerged, ships and beings of countless species, each now free to choose their own path of evolution. But the victory came at a cost. The Hyperion's quantum shields were failing, its hull groaning under the stellar forces. They'd succeeded in freeing the galaxy, but they might not survive to see it. That's when Alina felt it. A new quantum signature, unlike anything they'd encountered. The freed consciousnesses, acting of their own will for the first time, were reaching out. Their combined power wrapped around the human ships, sharing their strength, helping them endure. Hours later, as the Hyperion emerged from the sun, Alina stood at her command station and watched the dawn of a new era. The quantum network remained, but transformed. No longer a tool of control, but a bridge between free species. Humanity had not just survived. They had shown the galaxy a new way forward. Captain, Sarah called out, wonder in her voice. We're receiving transmissions from across the galaxy. Every species, every world. They want to talk, to share, to learn. Elena smiled, looking out at the stars that now held not sleeping gods, but awakened equals. Well then, Lieutenant, let's go make some new friends. In the centuries that followed, Historians would debate the significance of the quantum liberation, as it came to be known. But all agreed on one thing. It was the moment when humanity proved that their greatest strength wasn't their technology or their resilience. It was their unwavering belief that consciousness, true consciousness, could only exist in freedom.